Hey guys, Morgan here. I'm recording a draft video for GatheringMagic.com, and we are in an Innistrad Swiss draft. It's Halloween season, so it's pretty exciting. Innistrad has a place near and dear to my heart because it was my first ever draft format. I had been playing a little bit before that, but it was all casual, so this was the first time that I ever drafted. And I like to think that I'm a little bit better at drafting now than I was, and we'll see. So we actually start out with a bunch of pretty good uncommons. There is the Hanwire Watchkeep at the beginning of each turn if no spells were cast last turn. Transform it. It's a 1/5 defender for 3. It sees legacy play, and it transforms into a 5/5 attacks each turn of able creature. There's also a Morkrut Banshee. When it enters the battlefield, if a creature died this turn, target creature gets -4/-4, which is a pretty powerful removal in this format. There's also Murder of Crows. It's another 4/4 for 5, but this time in blue. When another creature dies, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. There's also an Ambush Viper at common, Flash, Death Touch, but I think I want either the Morkrut Banshee or the Murder of Crows. And I think I'm going to take the Morkrut Banshee. Removal seems pretty good, especially when it's on a stick, and the Morbid doesn't seem like it would be that hard to use. So yeah, we're gonna take it. Here, let's see, there's an Ashmouth Hound. When it blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, it deals 1 damage to that creature. The flip card in this pack is a Delver of Secrets. Not really interested in Delver of Secrets. Festerhide Boar seems pretty powerful. It's got Morbid. It enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters on it if a creature died this turn. There's also a Morbid Enabler in Stitcher's Apprentice, where you pay 1 and a blue to put a 2/2 homunculus creature token onto the battlefield, then sacrifice a creature. A lot of the time you're either sacrificing like a dirtly creature that you don't need anymore, or just the homunculus token. Bitterheart Witch, when it dies, you may search your library for a curse card, put it onto the battlefield attached to a target player, and then shuffle your library. Not really in the market for another 5-drop. I think I'm going to take the Fatty, actually. The rare at the beginning of your upkeep, put X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens on the battlefield, where X is half the number of zombies you control, rounded down. So that one, pretty hard to get going, so I'm not really interested. Alright, so we still have a couple of good options here. In black, we're looking at Moan of the Unhallowed, which puts 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield, and has flashback of 5 and 2 black. So, 4 zombies out of 1 card, which is pretty good. There's also a Screeching Bat, though. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 2 and 2 black. If you do transform Screeching Bat, it's a 2/2 flyer for 2 on its front, which is pretty good. And it becomes a 5/5 vampire. So, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to be doing. There's also a Pitchburn Devils. When it dies, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. But I'd like one of these black cards. And I think, I think it's just the Moan of the Unhallowed. It's less mana intensive, and it allows me to enable Morbid a little bit easier. Okay, so Markov Patrician is a 3/1 lifelink. Not super impressive, but definitely one of those cards where you can just, like, play it out and attack with it and see where it gets you. There's also a Mulch. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all land cards revealed this way into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Great with flashback spells, but not really anything else in my deck right now. There's also a Stitch Strike. As an additional cost to cast it, exile a creature card from your graveyard. And I guess there's Boneyard Worm worth mentioning. Good with Mulch. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. I think I'd take the Boneyard Worm. Like, if we get a Mulch, that'd be pretty good. So cards I'm looking at here are Moon Heron, Selhoff Occultist, and Smite the Monstrous, and I think it's just a Selhoff Occultist. We could still be playing like black-blue or something. And when it or another creature dies, target player puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. It's basically looting. You always do it to yourself in this format. Get it? So there's a Forbidden Alchemy and another Selhoff Occultist in here that I'm looking at. Lumberknot is a little bit clunky, in my opinion. Yeah, I think I just want another Selhoff Occultist. So we have Corpse Lunge as an additional cost to cast it. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. It deals damage equal to the exiled card's power to target creature. There's also One-Eyed Scarecrow. It's a 2/3 defender. Creatures with flying your opponent's control get -1/-0. It's kind of pretty effective. There's also a Traveler's Amulet and an Orchard Spirit, which is great because it has, like, evasion. I think I want the Traveler's Amulet. The Orchard Spirit is usually better in a deck that has things like travel preparations. Not really impressed by any of these. Wreath of Geist, enchanted creature gets +X/+X, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Pretty sweet. There's also an Altar's Reap. I think we're just gonna hate out this Ghostly Possession. Enchanted creature has flying and prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by enchanted creature. Here, I'm just gonna take the Brainweevil. Brainweevil is actually fine. Not great, but fine. I'm pretty happy picking up a Walking Corpse here. And I guess Stromkirk Patrol? That's fine. So we're kind of like just a deck, I guess. Yeah, I'll take a Stitcher's Apprentice, that's fine. You're gonna have to bear with me because my Rally the Peasants is a Trumpet Blast, and it does Trumpet Blast twice. That is Flashback, rather. Urgent Exorcism can actually destroy Morkrut Banshee, fun fact. Alright, so here there's a Moorland Haunt. That's the rare. You can pay blue-white to exile a creature card from your graveyard and exile a creature card from your graveyard to put a 1/1 white spirit token with flying onto the battlefield. We are going to take the Spider Spawning, put a 1/1 green spider creature token with reach onto the battlefield for each creature card in your graveyard. That is the reason to be black-green. And makes me glad that I picked up the Selhoff Occultist that I have. It's 5 mana initially, but then it flashes back for 7. You get a lot of spiders out of it. So yeah, we're gonna pick it up. Here there's a Deranged Assistant, which is a pretty sweet card. You tap it and put the top card of your library into your graveyard to add 1 to your mana pool. It's not only acceleration, but it is a way to mill for spider spawning, so I think I'm going to take that over the Avacyn's Pilgrim, which is another card that I was looking at. Parallel Lives is pretty interesting, but spider spawning is good enough on its own that I'm not really interested. So here, there's not a lot going on in this pack. I'm just going to pick up the Geistcatcher's rig. When it enters the battlefield, you may have it deal 4 damage to target creature with flying. For example, the Murder of Crows that we passed in Pack 1. Slayer of the Wicked is also a pretty good card, not in our deck particularly, but when it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target vampire, werewolf, or zombie. And we have some incidental, like, vampires and zombies, so as you can see, it's a pretty good card in the format. It's got a lot of targets. I love the art in Innistrad, by the way. Geistcatcher's right? Look at it. It's like just this steampunk... I can't zoom in on it right now. Oops, that's not where I wanted it. You can't see it. But it's like this steampunk carriage thing. It's pretty great. When Hollowhenge Scavenger enters the battlefield, if a creature died this turn, you gain 5 life. Not something I'm super impressed by. Festerhide Boar is another option. I think I'm going to take that because it's single green, I guess. Like, I could take the wooden stake, too. Not really interested in that either. Alright, so, wow, there's just not a lot going on in these packs for me. The best card in this pack is probably Village Ironsmith. It's a 1/1 for strike. At the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast this turn, transform it, and it becomes a 3/1 for strike. I could just take the Grave Bramble. I'm not really interested in that though. I could take the Fen Snake, I guess. Yeah, Fen Snake seems fine. It puts itself in my graveyard. Between the Gnaw to the Bone and the Deranged Assistant, I think I just want another Deranged Assistant. Like, Gnaw to the Bone is another, like, good part of the Spider Spawning deck, but I think I want, like, the mill engines first. There's a second Parallel Lives in this pool. Interesting. I could take the Typhoid Rats, or I could take the Mulch. Since green is probably my splash, I'm going to take the Typhoid Rats. Like, I've got enough stuff in black that I'd like to play black. Oh, wow, there's another Selhoff Occultist. Alright, taking it. And, yeah, this deck definitely rewards me for putting stuff in the graveyard, so... I'm just gonna take the Moorland Haunt. That card is, like, grindy as all get out. Do I take the Parallel Lives now? I think so. Whether I play it remains to be seen. But we're gonna put it in the sideboard for now. Corpse Lunge? I mean, I'm assuming it's not very good. But, like, it is potentially removal. And I'll take a Grave Bramble. And I'm probably not going to play it. The double green is pretty cost prohibitive, or pretty prohibitive. So yeah, this is a fun deck. We got to draft Spider Spawning, our first outing. This is amazing. The fun thing about Deranged Assistant is in this format, you want to be activating it each turn. Alright, so we got a pretty good bomb here in green. Kessig Cagebreakers. When it attacks, put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking for each creature card in your graveyard. Yes, please. There's also another Deranged Assistant. A Grizzled Outcasts. It's a 5-mana 4/4, and if no spells were cast last turn, transform it into a 7/7, which is pretty good. There's also a Brimstone Volley in this pack. It deals 3 damage to target creature or player, but it deals 5 damage to that creature or player instead if a creature died this turn. So I might end up in, like, blue-green, like, with the good cards that I have in green. I'm gonna cut these 2 cards right now, because I don't think they're that good. Here, there's a Grasp of Phantoms. Put target creature on top of its owner's library, flashback for 8. Otherwise, there's a Galvanic Juggernaut. It attacks each turn available. It doesn't untap during your untap step, and whenever a creature dies, you can untap it. So, promising. Both are promising. I think I want... I think I want the Juggernaut. Seems pretty good. Alright, so here there's a Skaab Goliath. It's a 6/6 that requires you to exile 2 creature cards from your graveyard in order to cast it. There's an Armored Skaab. When it enters the battlefield, put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard. And those are the cards I'm looking at. Butcher's Cleaver is pretty good, but it's a little expensive. There's also a Victim of Night, which is a removal spell. Do we need removal spells in this deck? Not really, I'm thinking. I think I'll just take the Armored Skaab. Yeah, I'll take the Armored Skaab. I think it's just the Ranger's Guile here. Like, there's not a lot going on in this pack either. Arbitor Ghoul is fine. There's a Burning Vengeance in this pack. There's another Victim of Night. There's also a Mulch, which seems good too. Otherwise, we could just take a second Armored Skaab. No, we'll just take the Armored Skaab. Here, I definitely want the Silent Departure. There's also a Rage Thrower is funny. It's really funny with Stitcher's Apprentice because it's just 2 mana, 2 damage. Pretty great. Definitely want to be applying some tempo. Here, Creeping Renaissance. That seems like it's pretty good. Choose a permanent type, return all cards of the chosen type from your graveyard to your hand. It's probably creatures, but maybe it's not great in our deck, but I want to try it out. Take another Typhoid Rats. I will definitely take it out of the bow now. Glad I got that one back. I'll take a One-Eyed Scarecrow because it's probably making the cut no matter what at this point. I'm not quite sure about my colors. I have 20 creatures in this deck. I guess I could just go like this, put in like Grave Bramble and Skaab Goliath. That seems pretty sweet. I guess we'll take the Bramble Crush for the sideboard. And the Kindercatch. That's not going in there. This is an interesting deck. We have triple Selhoff Occultist, double Deranged Assistant, Armored Skaab. We don't have any Memories Journeys, which I've heard are necessary in the Spider Spawning deck, but I think we'll survive. We're like mediocre beatdowns until we get to Spider Spawning. We do have a couple of like great staying power cards, like Creeping Renaissance, though. Like if the Spider Spawning plan doesn't work out. I could also take out the Grave Bramble and put in the Parallel Lives. Let's see, what are our non-creature spells? Silent Departure, Ranger's Guile, Traveler's Amulet, Knot of the Bone, and Creeping Renaissance. Let's see, is my black better than my green? I mean, there's not a lot of it, but what I do have is like early cards like Typhoid Rats and like Morkrut Banshee, which is double colored. Could cut a Grave Bramble, Boneyard Worm, which isn't really an early play anyway, Ranger's Guile. Stitcher's Apprentice probably would be cut. Like, don't play Walking Corpse, play these guys. I mean, I never need more than one blue. But I'm going to be splashing black anyway because of the Spider Spawning Flashback. And I can use Creeping Renaissance to get back lands. Okay, that sold it. I was like, oh, what if I mill all my swamps? Alright, so yeah, we'll do this. We'll play all of our good cards. There's a chance that we just mill over one of the Unhallowed anyways, so we're only flashing it back. 6/6/5, is that reasonable? Yeah, that's fine. Alright, we're gonna do it. We're gonna see how it goes. I will see you guys in round 1. Thanks for watching Drafting with Morgan. Make sure to click on the playlist link to watch the full draft, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It was a pleasure drafting with you, and I hope to see you in the next video.